Peace. How is everyone doing? All praise and glory to the mighty Most High, our Creator, who's one Creator, one Spirit of truth, one living God, with no partners, no Batman, no Robin, none to the left, none to the right, none that sit on the right hand of authority. The Old Testament is very clear in what it's saying to us. The Old Testament is the law that Jesus Christ came to fulfill in Matthew 5:17. The one that says, do not assume that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish the law. I've come to fulfill the law. The law that Jesus came to fulfill is this book that I've been reading to you for about 2 years now. All right? So we're here at Exodus chapter 8, starting in. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to Pharaoh and say to him, this is what the Lord says. Let my people go so that they may worship me. If he refuses to let them go, I will send a plague of frogs on your own country. The Nile will teem with frogs on your whole country. The Nile, the house of your officials, and onto the people and onto the ovens and into the feeding troughs. The frogs will come up on you and your people and your officials. Then the Lord said to Moses, tell Aaron to stretch out your staff over the streams, the canals and ponds, and make frogs come up from the land of Egypt. Busting a joke on this, man. If you tried bringing frogs up in Louisiana, man, they would have had a Louisiana Frog Fest. Anybody get a chuckle from that? I thought it was funny when I was reading it. Thought, boys, those people in Florida or one of them southern states, they'd have themselves a frog fest. They'd be opening up stands. You'd have stands on every corner. So Aaron stretched his hand out over the land of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land. But the magicians did the same thing through their secret arts. They also made frogs come up on the land of Egypt. So the Creator says that he's going to make frogs come up on the land. Does it make any sense at all that the Pharaoh would make more frogs come up on the land? Wouldn't the Pharaoh try to use his magic to make the frogs go away? Why already add to the attack? Or, it makes no sense to me. Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, pray to the Lord to take away the frogs from me and my people, and I will let your people go to make sacrifices to the Lord. Again, we all know how I feel about sacrifices on my channel here. I did a video the other day about sacrifices, and I showed you plenty of parables that show that the Creator would rather have you worship in him than sacrificing anything at all. Okay? So Moses said to Pharaoh, I leave to you the honor of setting time for me to pray for you and your officials, and that your own people, that you and your houses may be rid of the frogs, except for those that remain in the Nile. Tomorrow, Pharaoh said. Moses replied, it will be as you say, so that you know that there is no one like the Lord our God. Notice that this here, it's all capital, and God again. The Lord our God, some will say God in this particular sentence is Elohim. Okay? I have a problem with Elohim because Elohim is multiple gods. They are gods in the ordinary sense. Okay, this is 430 in the Strong's Concordance. So Elohim is a plural of Eloah. Eloah is plural of many gods, gods in the ordinary sense. But gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used. This is the key word here. Specifically used of the Supreme Creator, which is the Lord, which is a choice of duality. The Lord is a choice in duality. I've been trying to tell everybody that this language here that we speak has a hidden message within the words themselves. We've been taught that the word means one thing, but the word itself, the structure of the word itself, is completely opposite of that. So, the Lord, I've been thinking of a good acronym for the Lord because I know that these people, these are symbols, okay? Letters are symbols. So for them, a symbol could have meaning. The letter could have more meaning than what we just think of it as a sound. The letter itself could mean a word. It could mean a series of words. The way that the structure of this serpent language is written and developed. So, the Lord, El, being life, or death. The Spirit is life, okay? Flesh is death. You got to understand that. This plane of existence is death. It is a time construct created, okay? By who? The Creator. Who does what? He creates. The Creator creates. But yet you have the very word eat in the word creator, as in an eater, okay? So the Creator who lifts, he creates evil. He's the one that created it. He's the one that made it. This is why he is the Lord of hosts. If you're doing something shitty, he's going to correct you. You're going to get what you get. They call it karma, but it's not karma. It's the Creator using puppets, NPCs, non-playing characters. They're just there. They're zombies. And they do as they are commanded from the Spirit of God, but yet these fools think that they have free will. There's no such thing as free will. So you have the capital L-O-R-D here. The Lord up here is the supreme existing eternal Creator. He is the Spirit of truth. Okay? He's alone and by himself. This Lord here is alone and by himself. And this Lord here uses God. This Lord here uses Elohim. Uses Elohim and people that call themselves multiple God. Who are the people that call themselves multiple gods? Mankind. Mankind equals many gods. Why do I say that? Mankind equals many gods because that's what the sons of gods consider themselves in Genesis 6:1. When the daughters of men began to multiply and the sons of God saw that the daughters had become fine, they took for themselves all that they chose. All right? The sons of God are demons and devils and jinn and gremlins and trolls and just everything else that's under. They're real. Okay? They're real. The thing that you got to understand is they're in flesh suits. It's us. It was me when I was running amok, when I was chasing out at the bars, when I was drinking and fornicating with multiple partners and going out here and living my life like an abomination, trying to find true love, trying to find love at a bar with and then it's just ridiculous, folks. And then now you got 50 and 60-year-old women on websites that say 50 or 60-year-old women, loyal women, looking for love. If they were loyal women, they wouldn't be on the website looking for love. They would have still been with the man that they're supposed to be with in the first place. See, I never would have divorced my first wife. At least I have that. And the Creator knows that. He knows that in my heart, man. I never would have divorced, even though I'm glad it ended up in divorce. So that's kind of like a little bonus for me. So the Lord and God have two separate meanings. The Lord is the supreme, self-existing, eternal creator of life or death, okay? And he uses gods in the ordinary sense, Elohim, gods, many gods, mankind, man in many, okay? And that's how he operates. The frogs will leave you and your houses, your officials, and your people. They will remain only in the Nile. After Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh, Moses cried out to the Lord about the frogs he had brought to Pharaoh. And the Lord did as Moses asked. The frogs died in the houses, in the courtyards, and in the fields. They were piled into heaps, and the land reeked of them. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart, and he would not listen to Moses or Aaron, just as the Lord had said. Well, this is what I'm saying. The Creator is bringing all of these plagues and stuff onto the Pharaoh, and then at the same time, he's hardening the Pharaoh's heart. I don't understand why he just wouldn't let Pharaoh let the people go the first time. Because these miracles have to be performed, I'm guessing, so that the Hebrews can see the power of the Creator. It's either that or none of this ever happened. None of it. It's all hogwash. You know? From just stories. And like I say, I get attacked about it when I say stuff like this. Listen, the most important thing that I try to bring to this plate, man, is the worship of one God. Some of the stories in these things are fascinating and I can believe. Other parts of the stories I can't believe. You got to go precept upon precept, line upon line, man. If you see the inconsistencies, then you have to acknowledge them. If you try to turn away from the acknowledgement of the inconsistencies in the Bible, you will burn for that. Okay? You will go to the hellfire for turning away from not listening to seeing the inconsistencies. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron to reach out your staff and strike the dust of the ground, and throughout the land of Egypt the dust will become gnats." They did this, and when Aaron stretched out his hand with the staff and struck the dust of the ground, gnats came on the people and the animals. All the dust throughout the land of Egypt became gnats. But when the magicians tried to produce gnats, again, why would the magicians here try to produce instead of trying to negate? When magicians tried to produce gnats with their secret art, they could not. Okay? And what is a magician here, man? It's a mage. Okay? A magician is a mage, and we get and add an eye to that, and then you have an image. So the magician is a phantom. I'm trying to teach you guys the hidden language in the Bible. Okay, I don't know everything, but I am making strides at it, and I am picking up on this and in the order of what it is I'm trying to share, because you have what I'm trying to say, because you have image, which is a phantom, and a phantom is the ghost. Okay? An image is the Creator's imagination. which is a big word that I just went over the other day. And this is what I'm talking about. Language within inside of the language. Imagination means to create in one's mind. Imagination. It's our imagination. But you have the very word I'm in it. You could have a, and then jinn here could equal Jinn, which I'm pretty sure it does, which is I am a jinn nation. Which is what? It's the governments, folks. The nation, the jinn nations are the government, and they're nothing more than an imagination, and an image equals an idol. Okay? An image is an idol. It is a representation. Okay? So when the magicians tried to produce gnats with their secret arts, they could not. I guess, are they trying to produce gnats that would eat the gnats that came? Just silliness. Since the gnats were on the people and the animals everywhere, the magician said to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he would not listen, just as the Lord had said. Well, Lord, stop saying it. You're the creator. Stop saying it. Just make the Pharaoh's heart soft. The plague of the flies. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning and confront Pharaoh as he goes to the river and say to him, 'This is what the Lord says. Let my people go so that they might worship me. If you do not let my people go, I will send a swarm of flies on you and your officials and on your people and onto the houses. The houses of the Egyptians will be full of flies. Even the ground will be covered by them.'" Picking up at 22, "But on that day I will deal differently with the land of Goshen. Where my people live, no swarm of flies will be there, so that you will know that I, the Lord, am in the land. I will make a distinction between my people and your people. This sign will occur tomorrow." And the Lord did this. Dense swarms of flies poured into the Pharaoh's palace and into the houses of his officials. Throughout Egypt, the land was ruined by flies. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Go sacrifice to your God here in the land." But Moses said that would not be right to sacrifice. Would not be right. The sacrifice we offer to God would be detestable to the Egyptians. And if we offered animals that are detestable in their eyes, would they not stone us? We must take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices. Who is teaching the Hebrew man to sacrifice? Where did sacrifice come from? Because it's all in the Bible that it's detestable to sacrifice to the Lord. Okay? I didn't say it. The Bible's saying it. It's contradicting itself, just like it says when a man is dying, give him strong drink. And when a man is not dying, give him strong drink. This Bible goes back and forth, man. And then it's mind-baffling to know. You just know that anybody that says this Bible is perfect is of the devil, man. Because this Bible is jacked up. To the wilderness to sacrifice to the Lord our God as he commanded us. Pharaoh said, "I will allow you to go and make sacrifices to the Lord your God in the wilderness. But," okay, "you must not go very far. Now pray for me," he's saying. "But you must not go far." So what's going on here? The Pharaoh is still trying to dictate to the Hebrews what they can and can't do. He's still trying to do it. He's always trying to, okay, well, you can do this, but you got to do that. Okay, well, I'll let you go, but if you do this, okay, it's not giving it over. He's not turning it over. He's not letting it go. It's always trying to control and manipulate and have his say in what they can and can't do. But you must not go very far, the Pharaoh says. Now pray for me. Moses answered, as soon as I leave you, I will pray to the Lord, and tomorrow the flies will leave Pharaoh and his officials and his people. Only make sure that the Pharaoh does not act deceitfully again by not letting the people go to offer sacrifices to the Lord. Then Moses left Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. And the Lord did what Moses asked. The flies left Pharaoh, his officials, and the people. Not a fly remained. But this time Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. Well, I thought it was the next day already. That he said that he'd pray and the flies would be gone the next day. So was Pharaoh and all of them, or was Moses still in the city for another remaining 24 hours after they just had made this correspondence with one another, that the Pharaoh would allow him to go? This Bible is jacked, and this is why Christians don't understand it. You're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. It's broken, okay? But it does make sense. And the reason why the Bible is broken, because the Creator says what? He says, show thyself approved. That means get into the scriptures and dig them out and start reading and reading and reading. I don't mean a chapter a day like I'm doing here on the board. I do much more than just the chapter on the board. When I do a chapter on the board, I'm constantly scrolling and going back and forth and cross-referencing and challenging everybody in my lessons, because I know that the Bible is a corrupted book, but it has the truth in it. And through that truth, this is where the Creator allowed the Gentile to get their hands on the Bible and graft themselves in it. This Bible was never the Gentiles' book. Okay, the Bible, or the Torah, was the book for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It was written by the prophets of the Old Testament. And then the Old Testament prophets were changed into a New Testament prophets. And God don't change. So you got to start waking up. If you got a Creator that's in the Old Testament telling you that He doesn't change, all right, and then you got a New Testament, then that New Testament means change. So you got to start using a little bit of common sense. This is the real deal, what I'm sharing with you, folks. We're in a virtual reality around us. This world doesn't exist. You are a soul trapped inside of flesh, inside of your mind, underneath of a vault in heaven. So listen to more content, figure it all out. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High, our Creator, who is one God. Bow your head if you like, and let's go out. Our Creator, the Spirit which moves all things in place, there is none like you. Please place your Spirit upon anybody that may be listening to this message to the end right now. Let them find discernment, strength, love, security, hope, faith, everything that you offer. Wake them up and let them know, Lord, that you do have a wrath. Something that Christians don't seem to teach, Lord. Why? Why do not the Christians teach that you have a wrath? Because they've gone crazy on this chicken story that a man died on a cross for our sins. Please, Lord, save us. I humbly submit to you all that I am. I praise you with every cell, every fiber of flesh, every ounce of blood that pumps through my veins. I humbly lay down before you. Please, Lord, carry me through these treacherous times and take care of all that is evil. May your will be done. I ask all these things only in your almighty power, my Creator, who is one God, a Spirit. This is White Raptor News Ministries.